Peasant Productions presents the math of ESP, why it works even if you don't believe. Okay. Gonna have a little bit of fun here, try and keep this a little bit on the lighthearted side, but I had a person put up a post on my thing about how, basically what they did was they just put a post of a preacher reading the Bible and explaining what the preacher thinks this means and what this says. And this particular person that has done this kind of repeatedly tells me that her preachers are going to know more than my connection with the spiritual realm. So a quick little thingy here, we're going to discuss the issue of Revelation 2:17, which I have running across here on all the videos, so you understand. I have the highest level possible on your planet. There is no other religion on this planet. There is no other situation where a God gives you a spiritual mark that says you are connected to everything that exists in the spiritual realm. Okay? Now, in order for you to try and understand the full amount of this, okay, here we have NIV, okay, New International Version, Study Bible. It says here on the back of it, it says, I don't know if we can get it close enough without blurring it out, but it says, Words of Christ in red, okay, which means that if it's in red, it's supposed to be the absolute words that Jesus Christ spoke when he was on this planet 2017 years ago, or actually, I guess that he was supposed to be born in 0, so he would have, been what, 30 years old, 33, 34 years old when the BS of what was supposed to take place in here was all going on. Okay. Now, if it is the absolute words of Jesus Christ, even a pope cannot walk him and say, no, that's not what that is. Okay. The pope can't change it because he just violated his own religion, his own book. Okay, so, and as you can see here, folks, I got lots of marks. I have studied and read this particular book here. You can see I got lots of notes on the inside, even here. And you can see here, presented to the rock, that was me. Peter is the rock, according to the names and words in this Bible, from the Bible Guide, in 11/5/1993. Okay, so, yeah. A long time ago, 1993, I was given this. I have obviously worn and wired and all that. I received the Revelation 2:17 White Rock, a new name, on a mountaintop in 1987. At the time I received it, the Christ entity meandered on up to me in the spiritual realm and said, "Hey Pete, come here, I need to talk to you." There is a vision that goes on between the two of us of a understanding of what the Christ entity, showed himself to me as a physical representation that the two of us, a shared vision. Okay, we walk up out of the campsite that I was maintaining actually physically on this physical planet. We walk up onto the hill and go through some motions. He asked me to present my hand. I know something ain't quite exactly kosher here, but nonetheless I put my hand out. He dropped the rock in my hand. And I knew that whatever that thing was, it had something to do with this thing here. He then backs off. I see the name, and as he's walking away, I'm saying, "What the fuck did you do? What is it? You ain't supposed to do this because I ain't a Christian, I ain't a Catholic." And he sits there and says, "Hey, you want to know what that is? You go read a Bible. One of these days you're going to do me a favor," and he wanders on out of the scene. Okay? Now, I come out of the vision, I get into meditation, conversation with the rest of the entities that are more or less my contracted bosses type of a thing. And they informed me that no, you have not been violated. You are not claimed as a Christian by that. You are not claimed as a Catholic by that. But yes, you will have to sit down and read a Bible and study it and learn what the stone is, what goes all together with this, what it amounts to. Okay. 87 up there. I went down off the hill. I went and bought, just the New Testament part, because that's the part that has to do with Christ. Came back up on the hill and I started reading it. All the way there, in the very end, Revelations, I find the 2:17 passage, and it's like, that's the frickin' piece. Okay, fine. The boss and I enter into a conversation, and it is understood that no, I do not have to walk out and start telling everybody that this exists, but if I ever tell anybody at all, if I tell one person, I must, from that point on, it must be publicly visible and talked about and out there that I have this mark. 2015, fine, somebody got in my face, a Christian type lawyer, tell me how you can't know anything about law because you're not a Christian. Excuse me? That's about the most arrogant, stupid statement you can possibly make to me. And it actually pissed me off enough that I told the guy, hey, stuff it up your butt, dude. I got this mark from the Christ entity that says I know a hell of a lot more than you do. And marks me as somebody that's actually been in front of Christ. So you can't know Christ better than me, because I can look at you and know you've never stood in front of Christ. Okay, now, like I said, words in red are the words, absolute words of Christ. Revelations. Okay, Revelations 2:17. Kindly note, the whole entire passage is red, folks. Which means, again, the Pope can't walk up and say, oh, that book's wrong. That isn't what it says. You have to go read this book over here. Okay? Now, I have looked at about a dozen different Bibles, and with very small word changes here and there, this is basically the consistency of it in everything, okay? He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. Now, mind you, when Jesus Christ, according to this Bible, walked the earth, Catholic Church, Christian Church did not exist. Jesus Christ did not walk around saying, I'm going to build a church on this rock over here, and I'm going to build a church over there. He did not tell anybody that the church was there. Theoretically, he's supposed to have told a couple of the apostles to go out and build churches, create churches. But they did not exist. Therefore, if he is saying, I am going to give this white stone and this new name that is known only to the person that receives it, that he meant all churches. And because I've been in front of Christ enough times in my life and talked to this Christ entity enough times, and I have the mark that says that I can hear all the spirits that exist, yeah, I can talk to Christ anytime I want, and I got a 99% chance that there's going to be an answer that fast, okay? So when somebody walks up to me and says, you can't know anything about Christianity, they might be talking about the religion and what the preachers teach you. But they cannot say, I don't know anything about Christ, because I know Christ very personally. I know that the Christ entity does not like that book. The Christ entity does not believe that it is a part of that crap that is in that book. It was not part of a controlling, domination type religious order that's around for collecting money. Okay? So there is a theory and a relative biasima that you have to believe what a preacher tells you, because the preacher went to school forever. What do schools do? They teach you what they want you to believe. What am I doing? I am teaching you how to think. What is there? How to open your heart up to hear what the spiritual realm has to say. That's the difference, folks. I'm not teaching you what to think. I'm teaching you how to think. Absolute to absolute. I teach you how to think. A very spiritual person teaches how to think, how to communicate. A control domination person teaches you got to come to them for anything. Okay? The psychiatrist that wants to control you will put you on a medication to make certain you keep coming back. If he really wants to make certain you got to keep coming back, he's going to change that medication several times very rapidly, because he has then produced what the medical data safety sheets of big pharma drugs tell you will happen, which is you will literally wham to the chemical composition of your body, and you have permanently damaged the body. It will take an enormous amount of time to correct the physical, structural, chemical damage done to you by changing a psychotic drug overnight. If you are on it for 30 days, 40 days, your body is hooked onto it the same as any heroin addict is. If you pull it out and you read the MSD sheets, you find out that, yeah, you have just done something that is technically very lethal, or at least extremely mentally damaging, psychologically damaging. Okay? So you have created a permanent client. There are other drugs in the, other drugs in the medical, as far as, for your body, the statins and things like that. They all do the same thing. Big Pharma likes to build a dependency in, because just like the heroin addict, you are then coming back and giving them money and giving them money and being hooked on it and being there and having to give and having to pay. Okay? And just like the street drug pusher, oh, here's a free sample. What do you see on TV? If you can't get this drug, if you can't afford this, contact us. We may be able to help. Walk in and ask your doctor, because he might be able to get you a free sample. Yeah. Just like the street pusher, they give you the free drug to hook you and make you a permanent addict. So, Christianity, the Bible, Muslims, Jews, what do? They tell you are damned for life for just being born. Like I explained some time back. How did they become not? Buddhism, you must go to the long lineage. But Buddha didn't have a long lineage to go to. Okay? You are fully capable of enlightening yourself by simply opening up to what exists. Okay? But nonetheless, you are trained and tutored to believe that a school knows better than you. You're not trained to think about it. You are trained to believe what you are told. And everywhere you look, you see it. Okay?